Welcome to the Cup of Joe Show, the podcast where Senator Joseph Cryan talks about the latest in New Jersey's 20th Legislative District. This week's guest, Union Township Mayor James Bowser.
So welcome, everybody. This is our inaugural Cup of Joe Show, so to speak, and I'm Senator Joe Cryan. I have the privilege of being the senator for the 20th District here in the state of New Jersey, in the state Senate, and I'm fortunate enough to represent four communities: the borough of Kenilworth, the borough of Roselle, and the city of Elizabeth, as well as the Township of Union. And today, in our inaugural first episode, I'm very, very honored. In a few moments, we're going to begin a conversation with the mayor of the Township of Union, James Bowser. Jim, it's good to see you.
Yeah, thank you, Joe, for inviting me.
I appreciate having you. So our intention here, and we appreciate you being our first guest. We're really excited about that. But the idea is that we're going to introduce folks in the community, all four towns, as I mentioned, but also have the opportunity to learn a little bit more about them, talk about them, how they got to the positions they're in, whether it's in active community members, whether it's in PTAs, whether it's folks like yourself, elected officials chosen to lead, that we get a little bit of an insight in terms of how people's thoughts process are, what's on their minds, and share a little bit about what makes the 20th District, and quite candidly today, the Township of Union, so special. So let me get into it with you a little bit, if that's all right, Mayor.
Sounds good.
Great. Talk to me a little bit about how did you end your journey? How did you end up in the Township of Union? How did you come into politics? Talk to us about that.
Okay, I really came into the Township of Union. My late wife, was born and raised in Union, Vauxhall, and we decided in 1996 to come here and actually raise our family because of the school system, and she had relatives here, so that's kind of how we got to Union. But myself, in terms of where I'm from, I actually grew up in Newark, New Jersey. I'm a product of the Bachelor projects. I attended the Newark school system, and I attended NJIT, New Jersey Institute of Technology, where I received a bachelor's degree in industrial engineering and a master's degree in industrial engineering. And from there, I also started working for companies like Johnson & Johnson, Airco Welding Products, and Nabisco over the last 30-some years. So it's been an interesting journey to get to Union.
Okay. What kind of things did you do for those companies?
Well, working for Johnson & Johnson, I started out as a project engineer, relatively easy projects around the plant. And that progressed to a more difficult, time-consuming, and focused approach with General Foods and Nabisco, where I became a senior project manager, where I was involved in new product introductions. I don't know if you're familiar with the product Honey Bunches of Oats, but it's a post-cereal project that I actually got involved in the development with the plant. The plant decided to actually put together some products called Honey Bunches of Oats. It was a plant-based product that I was given the opportunity to actually launch with the marketing group back in the early 80s. So that was one of my key projects with them.
That require a lot of travel?
Yes. When you speak of travel, I had, before I retired, I was probably up to about 100% travel. So I've had the opportunity to visit a lot of the states in terms of our manufacturing locations, whether it was New Jersey, Delaware, Florida, California, Midwest, Illinois, Chicago, those areas. And I also did some international travel. I was involved in some projects in England. I also had the opportunity to visit a country called Bratislava, Slovakia. We had a candy plant there where I also led some teams, and I had the opportunity to bring home some candy from that particular location. So one of the benefits from traveling a lot is you had a chance to sample the different products from different countries and had a chance to really enjoy that. So that was kind of an interesting event.
So you were a little more welcome coming through the door after a long week if you had something in your hand.
Yeah, with a box of cereal and a bag of candy. Yep.
Okay. So you're raising your family
Yes.
and raising them here in Union, and then as well as obviously completing a successful professional career. You're retired now, correct?
Correct. Mm-hmm. Yes, I retired in 2012, and what happened in 2012 after I retired, sitting on the couch, my wife said, you need to get out and get more involved.
They do that.
But that typically happens to you, so I found a part-time job, and from there, some opportunities came up in terms of getting more involved in our township as far as activities, district leader. I got involved in the planning board, first as a member of the planning board, and then more recently as the chairman of the planning board. And that offered me the opportunity to really understand the dynamics of development and growth in our township. So that kind of gave me that background. And then most recently, as you know, Township Committee and now Mayor of the Township.
Okay. So when did you run for Township Committee?
Oh, 2 years ago. This is actually my first term. I'm starting my third year, my first term. It's been a really great opportunity for me, and I feel as though I'm making a difference in our town.
So can you take listeners for a moment? So you ran 3 years ago, you're in your third year, yet you're the mayor. So how does the town committee government work, or how are you selected, or how does that process work?
Well, as it works, we typically elect all 5 members of the Township Committee on a cycle. And after that cycle is complete, you have the 5 members elected. From the 5 members, we select the mayor for 1-year term. So this year in January, I was selected to be the mayor for 1-year term.
Okay. And you succeeded Mayor Figueredo, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. And so when that happened and your colleagues selected you, I believe that on New Year's Day you laid out a vision for the township, did you not?
That is correct. My vision, as I see it, being close to family is just having a town that's a fun and happy place to be and secure and safe. That's kind of how I look at it. And from there, I can drill down to other aspects of our town as far as business development, just recreation and parks and things of that nature. But basically, it's having a happy, fun, and safe place to live.
Okay. Do you find residents talking to you about community events and about public safety?
Yes. I had a number of residents come to me and compliment us on our activities. We have about 30 activities planned this year, just around social events for families. And I'd like to talk a little bit about some of the ones that really impact me. I believe the Winter Wonderland is one that comes to mind first and foremost, is because you have the children out there, waiting for Santa to come and the fireworks display. Those are the kind of things that get people out and really have a good time. Also, the Easter egg hunt is another one of those examples where you get the families out, they have a good time, you see the kids chasing the Easter bunny and looking for the eggs and things of that nature. Also, the 4th of July is another big one where you have the firework display and you have residents saying, make it bigger, better, and more fun. And we tend to do that every year, make it bigger and better. So those are just a few of the activities that I've had residents talk to me about. In terms of other areas, I've had residents talk about how we maintain the town as far as keeping streets clean, plowing snow, things of that nature. So we kind of stay engaged in those areas as well.
Well, in a few minutes, I want to talk to you about, as we talk today, we're still celebrating Black History Month here in the month of February, and I'd love to move the conversation there in just a moment. But a little bit more about the residents. So do folks talk to you about different ideas or what they want to see in town?
Yes. More outside events. I think one of the things that popped up, this year, we did I guess it was Open Road on Broadway Avenue. We did this back in October. We did it for a couple of, I believe it was Sunday mornings, where we opened up the road from Morris Avenue to Liberty Avenue to the park. And families came out and riding bikes, jogging, and just generally just spending time together. That was well received, and to the point where we've expanded it to actually start this spring, where we're going to do it, and I believe it's in May and July and then in the fall. So that's one of those areas where we listened real carefully to what the residents were saying around just having more family time out there in the township.
I think you shared a story with us before we came on that a resident actually suggested doing a turkey trot. And it's kind of rainy that day, but yet hundreds came out. Do I have it right? Yeah,
that is correct. The turkey trot is something that we're going to do this year. And even though it was rainy and cold and we all were shivering, it was something that they really enjoyed doing. So, yes.
Absolutely wonderful. So let me move you a little bit now towards Union has had a remarkable month of celebration, and I know that there was a big part of it last weekend as well. But I was hopeful you could talk a little bit about Black History Month, not only what it means to the community, but a little bit about it for yourself. I mean, you're a man of color who's got the honor of being mayor. I'm sure that's important and a milestone as well. But talk to us a little bit about that.
Well, Black history to me as a black male is an interesting thing in terms of how I feel about it. It's an opportunity to actually present our culture and really show our journey from slavery to present time. But it's also a time to reflect and not lose sight of the need to continue the journey and continue to fight. So me, it's a time when I reflect on the time when I was growing up. Was in the 60s and the 70s when we were probably in the middle of the civil rights era, when we had the most turmoil and, say, challenges to move forward. And as a black male today, I think it's important that we don't lose sight of those battles and challenges and opportunities and obstacles that presented itself at that time.
You had the opportunity to go to college and obviously receive your master's. I have the privilege of chairing the Senate Higher Ed Committee, and we know that just based on the color of someone's skin that they start with a 15% less chance to actually graduate college as a result, whether it's black or brown. Those kind of things and those kind of statistics always bother me, that we can't seem to put everybody on the same field. Just start at the same line and see where we all go. It's certainly a challenge for us.
Exactly.
So tell me a little more about, last weekend I think was something really special in terms of the Peacock Award and those sort of things.
Yes, the Euless Peacock Award is the Unsung Heroes Award. It's given to outstanding people of the black community who have made some tremendous contributions to really helping others. And this year we had chosen Reverend Jenkins for that prestigious award, and he's well-deserving of that.
Well, it seemed like it was a great introduction and a nice crowd out there for it.
Absolutely.
Okay. So what have you seen in terms of the community? Have they embraced the amount of events that have been here for celebration of Black history?
The events that I've gone to, and I've gone to at least 4 or 5 events, Black History Month events this year, and the turnout has been relatively good for each one of those. As in everything, I believe in continuous improvement. I think we can do a better job of getting the word out in terms of enhancing those the participation. But again, I thought it was really a good turnout for those events this year.
Well, a couple events were held at the Vauxhall Library, and they were particularly educational. I had the privilege, and I'll say, to be there for the art series, which was simply remarkable in terms of not only value but understanding the history of some of in terms of the context of Black history, understanding art, what it meant, and its power in terms of the community.
Exactly. That's that cultural piece that for the month of February is good to get out there. But again, it's one of those things where art and culture should be a 365-day event. It shouldn't just be for a specific time of the year just to look into it, but it should be just more of a situation where you look at art for what it is, something that enhances your thought process and gives you a good feeling about life.
As a matter of fact, I think we're going to celebrate an entrepreneur, a person who's very active in the community, Art Pickney. And aren't we celebrating his 15th anniversary coming up?
Yes, we have a ceremony coming up for him, which is going to really be fantastic. We'll actually cut a ribbon, I believe, and do an opportunity to have a photo op with him and just really give him a chance to explain his story, because to be there that long, there had to have been some challenges along the way. And it's really great to have him kind of walk us through his journey.
As we speak today, it's Monday afternoon. I believe his ceremony will actually be Thursday at noon.
Yes.
And it's business on Vauxhall Road, Arts World, right?
Yes.
Arts World and Framing. So many good stories to pass along with the celebrations that we have. How have you found it to be different from being a member of the town committee to being mayor?
Well, being mayor, one of the things that kind of hit me square on was the fact that, and I knew this fact, we have 60,000 residents in our town. And keeping them safe is a responsibility for all 5 of us. But as mayor, that seemed to have gravitated a little heavier on me as mayor as I see it. So just having the responsibility of just maintaining safety for our residents and making sure that All our services are done in a way that's satisfactory to for our residents. Again, hits me a little harder as mayor.
And do you find it that you consistently have to do some educational things with folks? Let's face it, we're all concerned about cars and those sort of things. Folks not leaving fobs in cars, for example. I think our police department does quite a bit of educational programs.
Correct. As I mentioned earlier in our conversation, public safety is first and foremost on my list. So working with our police department and fire departments on developing initiatives to enlighten and keep our residents aware of safety is higher on our list. So we've had the police department develop prevention videos on, as you mentioned, your key fobs and how to secure those, and having lighting around your home to prevent intrusions and things of that nature. So we're out there. We have the special task force looking at those areas. We have the community policing unit out there, really meeting people on the streets where they are and getting input from them and actually working with them in terms of their safety. So yes, safety is important.
What other priorities do you have as mayor?
We talk about having a place to play. Our parks and maintaining our parks and upgrading our parks is higher on our list. It's really the hub of our connectivity, so maintaining and upgrading our parks is higher on my list. Our business development is extremely important, where we offer seminars and webinars to business owners and potential business owners coming into town to provide them with resources to help them to be successful, whether it's grants or loans or who they should contact for getting facilities and things of that nature. So yes, that's something that we definitely keying in on.
And I'd be remiss, folks often talk about the development in the center, right, where we've seen such a significant change. Are we out to around August or September this year for the next phase to be completed over where the old senior center was? I believe is that the timeline? Am I correct on that?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay. So lots more to come.
Lots more to come. As you can see, the face of Union is changing as we speak.
It is. So with that said, I want to thank you for being our first inaugural guest. It's a big deal for us, and we're very excited by it. Any other comments or things you'd like folks to know about?
Well, I just want to say we have a library that will be opening up hopefully this spring, and that's going to offer us an opportunity to bring in more culture to the center of town. We'll have a black box theater that will seat 150 people, where we'll show some good cultural movies and films and plays and things of that nature. We'll have some sensory rooms there, and again, it's just going to be the hub, one of the hubs of our township. So again, that's something to look forward to.
Will there be space there for, like you mentioned, the Black Box Theater, but it's my understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, there's an area there for art displays. There's an area there for showing off local talent, both at the theater itself. Can you help me with that?
Yes, there's going to be an area, I believe, just before you go into the Black Box Theater, where you could have art displayed. There'll be a number of different at least about 3 different areas within the confines of one space to have pictures, photos, things of that nature on display.
Well, that's absolutely fabulous.
It's fantastic. Yeah. And a cafe is going to be in there too, so it's going to be nice.
So we can have coffee and a little bit of art and
yes.
all that goes with it.
Yes.
That's great. Mayor, thanks so much for being our initial guest.
Thank you for having me.
A Cup of Joe today with Mayor Jim Bowser.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
That's a wrap on this episode of A Cup of Joe, hosted by Senator Joseph Cryan. Thanks for watching, and until next time, stay informed, stay engaged, and we'll see you again for another cup.